This episode is brought to you by finally having a good hair day. You'll see it soon enough.
This episode is also brought to you by shaving, something I do twice a year. Oh, you'll find out.
This is Real Garbage.
Hello, Jeff.
Whoa, Katie.
Wow.
What's up? Wow. In the words of Owen Wilson, wow.
Wow.
I feel like I'm straining. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lift that mic up. Ooh.
I had a slide whistle once. I stole
Really?
it from my my junior high school. Yeah. And someone stole it from me.
Oh.
Sons of
The
bitches.
stealing is full circle.
That's karma.
Yeah.
I believe in karma.
Yeah.
I was just talking to one of my coworkers today about a time we got robbed when I think I was 20.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we had these dickbag friends who kicked our door in once and robbed us. And I was like,
Whoa.
oh, Mom, I want to beat them up so bad. And she's like, you just don't worry about it. Karma's going to get them. Crazy thing. Like a year later, the one guy was in jail. One guy got the shit beat out of him by a bunch of bikers. And then the other guy had his car like totaled. We saw it. It was all smashed up.
Whoa.
So yeah, we're like, okay, you know what, Mom? You're right. Karma's a bitch. It's crazy.
Damn.
What's happening? What's new? What's exciting?
I got new glasses.
My glasses!
My glasses.
My glasses! What? Did you have to change your prescription? Your subscription? Your prescription?
My subscription nor my prescription changed. Still subscribed to Shitty Vision.
Did
But
you go to an optometrist or an ophthalmologist?
I think I went to an optometrist. Yeah,
The optometrist.
not the ophthalmologist.
Number 1 or number 2?
Literally,
Number 1.
they went up to 6. They were like,
What?
1 or 2, and then I picked, and they were like 2 or 3.
6.
Yeah, and then after all that, I was like, oh no, like this is gonna come back, and they're like, you're fucked. But no, my prescription hasn't changed at all. So I just got like new frames, and then these ones.
They look good.
Thank you.
I gotta get my eyes checked.
Yeah.
They're
First a dentist, and now you have to go get your eyes checked.
my teeth feel so good. I had a freezy the other night.
Oh.
We played a show at Influence Sports Shops with my band, and afterwards we're listening to one of the other bands, and I just like kind of noticed something out of the corner of my eye, and I look over at my buddy Joel, my guitar player, just sucking on a big Mr. Freeze. I'm like, where did you get that? Screaming over the sound. He's like, it's over there. Yeah, there's a little concession stand. I was like, oh, give me a freezy. And as soon as I bit into it, I was like, my first instinct was, ugh. And I hit my teeth. I was like, oh yeah, fillings. Ah, this is the best freezy I've ever eaten. It was amazing. I've had sensitive teeth with those cavities, well, not even cavities, just fillings missing, like chunks of filling missing. It's just everything that hits it. I'm like, it sucks. And now I can swish water in my mouth and not cringe.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Oh.
Feels pretty good.
Whole new
my
world.
God, I had to get 4 needles of Novocaine. Yeah, 2 on each side. And the left side, I was like, okay. I'm like laughing. So I'm like, oh, can you believe I hate needles? And covered in tattoos. They're like, oh, it's always the ones with tattoos. I'm scared. I'm like, yeah, you're jabbing a giant needle in my goddamn gums.
Yeah.
It's not cool. It's not going to look cool later either.
Nope.
But yeah, 2 on one side. Then the right side, he hit the nerve.
Oh.
That I was kind of just like grabbing the chair, like, and he goes, oh, I feel a little pain there. I'm like, I hit the nerve. I'm like, son of a bitch. And then, man, was my face like I felt like it was like a baseball mitt. Didn't look that bad, but I'm like, I can feel it. I'm trying to smoke a joint when I got home. I'm sitting outside like Popeye, slobbering all over. Then I tried to smoke the vaporizer. That wasn't happening. Couldn't get a seal around it.
Did you drool all over yourself?
No, I sat and I edited one of the episodes, one of our episodes. I can't remember which one it was. And then I came over and when my face finally defrosted, that's when I came over for wings. I was like, I gotta eat now. Yeah, so it's feels weird. And they're white fillings now too, so I can't even see them.
Oh, nice.
Because I always had those old amalgam fillings that
The
they say
metal one.
kill you or something. Everything's killing us.
Well, my lord.
This delicious summery cider is killing me. No. How's your weekend or week been? How's the last few days been?
Yeah. Good. I went to Milestones for our Mother's Day dinner yesterday.
Oh, yes, Mother's Day.
Oh, I had a steak and it was so good. It was so good. It cut like butter. It was so flavorful. There was no fat on the meat whatsoever.
Oh, it's got to be a little bit, just a little bit of fat in there sometimes.
Disgusting.
No, fat's good for you.
And it was like this like 3-course meal for $35. It was freaking awesome. Yeah.
Hang on. I'm just going to make sure you're not blocking your face still.
Oh, yeah. I have a tendency to do that. Better? 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 Cool.
Was kind of blocked over there. And we're back. I love this having this thing on there. It's so good.
Yeah. It feels
So much better.
perfesh.
Anyway, what were we saying?
3-course
The
dinner
steak.
is really good.
Which Milestones?
The one on Wharf Street.
Wharf Street. Yes.
The only thing that like chaps my ass is that it's a restaurant. It's a huge restaurant, touristy, cute.
I think that's number 22 or 23.
Yeah.
Oh, I tasted like euros.
Onion.
Woo! Greek salad.
Yeah, huge restaurant, big tourist spot. They don't have any parking, so you're forced to drive down and pay for parking. They don't validate the parking, and I'm like, even Disneyland validates parking for when you park. They pay you back every time you go shopping in Disneyland. They ask, "Do you need your parking validated?"
Parking validation used to be like a thing. Or maybe it's just like in the States. I don't think it's ever
Maybe.
really been a Canadian thing. You see it in old episodes of Seinfeld. Like, oh, do you validate? Like
Yeah.
you go like your dry cleaner. Oh, do you validate? I'm like, what is this validating thing? So I've never heard of it up here.
Yeah.
Or I've never asked for it. Like maybe it is a thing that a government's just like, just don't tell anybody. Just keep it on the DL. It could be something like that. Maybe they just don't want to tell us. We
Maybe.
should Google it.
We should.
Jamie, bring that up. Oh, we don't have a Jamie.
Especially because street parking on Sundays isn't free anymore.
Well, it's always free in Yates Parkade after 6.
Yeah.
That's
It's
where I
free
always
in the
park.
parkades,
And
but not street parking.
Yeah, you can just park in Yates.
True.
That's your workaround.
That's far away.
There's from Milestones, it's like 3 blocks.
Is it?
Yeah, Yates Parkade is right on Wharf Street.
Oh.
Or just, half a block to Wharf Street, or you can back up to Government, whichever is easier for you.
Oh, I'm thinking of the View Street Parkade.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yates Parkade, free after 6 on weeknights and weekdays. The Yates Parkade, free on weeknights and weekends. And Sundays are free all day, too.
Yeah. Well, all the parkade. Was it the Yates Parkade as well that, like, someone taped open used needles to the bottom of the handrails? Yeah.
I just try not to use the handrails ever.
Yeah, I'd rather fall down the stairs and risk breaking my neck than
what
stab
is
myself with a needle.
Wrong with people?
I know. It's so messed up.
I say if you're a crazy enough person to do that, you should have to just literally throw them at the people.
Yeah,
Like, you gotta
if you're
do it out in the
gonna
open.
commit
Yeah, run down
to
the sidewalk.
being that piece of shit.
Yeah, it was like they're throwing darts. Like
Well,
just do that. You have to.
When my boyfriend
Scary.
and our best friend were driving home from work together in town, they said on Pandora they saw this guy walking with needles in his fingers like frickin' Wolverine, and they were uncapped, and he was just walking around like, "Do you want a needle? Do you want a needle?"
Scary Terry from
Yeah.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah, it was wild. Like, people are so wild.
Welcome to your nightmare, bitch.
Yeah, actually.
Where's season 4, Harmon? Fuck. I want to see Rick and Morty season 4 so bad. Oh, I must say, my skin feels amazing.
Yes.
It feels so soft.
Cool.
It's so soft.
It's so soft.
Yeah, I feel like it's working.
It's looking good. Yeah.
I feel like I'm aging backwards now.
Okay, Benjamin.
Said it before. I'll say it again.
No, it does look really good.
Thank you. Plus the sun's helping. I'm trying to get a little bit of a tan at work.
I never.
SPF 50 ain't gonna do it though. It'd be a porcelain doll all summer.
That's fine.
What are we gonna talk about this time? So we stuck with our theme.
Of movies
This
we
will
love.
be the
Third.
yeah. No, we're starting. Yeah, the third one we've enjoyed. Because we did Drive and Reservoir Dogs, and now
Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. Oh my God. I've been waiting to record this for so long. Like, don't get me wrong. I love recording like shitty movies. It's so fun, like picking apart movies and talking about what makes them so bad. But there's also just like something special about going in depth and talking about movies we love and like why. And then by doing that, it just makes you love them even more. Like talking about Drive and Reservoir Dogs. Like,
yeah.
and then also, it'll be interesting because this was my pick, whereas Drive and Reservoir Dogs were your pick. Picks. And so it'll be interesting to like hear what you have to say about it, because you might say things that like I haven't even thought of or point things out. So I'm excited but scared.
So this came out in 2001.
Yeah, which means they filmed it in like 1999, 2000.
I was pretty sure I hadn't even turned 19 yet.
What?
Yeah, because I was 18 when I saw this in 2000 when I graduated. Or
Whoa.
2001, I had September baby. So I think this came out at I don't know,
Yeah.
I might have been 19, who knows. But I remember this is like a 2-hour and 50-some minute runtime.
Yeah.
And I remember 20 minutes in, I'm like, oh, shit. I have to pee. I'm like, this is not good. I sat through that whole, I was like, fuck, I'm not leaving.
Whoa.
Because I wanted to see that movie so bad. And I didn't want to miss anything because did you ever read the books?
Yeah.
When did you read the books?
I read the books as soon as I could like comprehend large books. My grandma was an avid reader and she had me read like so many different books. I was reading Stephen King. So I think my earliest memory of reading The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings was probably when I was, I want to say 8.
So before you watched the movies.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know.
I tried to. I think I was 15 or 16 because I discovered The Hobbit. The Hobbit's still my favorite book of all time. I love that book. I can pick it up and read it, start reading in the morning and finish it in the evening time. Like,
I have a copy.
another good read.
I have a copy in my car just in case like I'm ever stuck somewhere or am waiting somewhere or my car breaks down. So I can just read
What
it.
is a Hobbit? I tried to read it when I was younger, and I remember making it through halfway through the Two Towers. And I just got lost. I was like, what is going on? I don't know who these people are. I don't know where they are now. Forget about it. And I just closed the book. Because my brother's friend had this. It was all 3 in one book. It was like this. It was like you could club somebody and break their skull with that book. It was huge. And I remember just reading that thing until you made it in the middle. It's like, okay, I can relax peeling the pages back. But it was just so complex. And then I remember watching the first one and going like, okay. And I think I reread the first one before the second one came out. And then when the second one came out, I was like, okay, I'm going to read that too. I kind of reread the books as it went along. And it was just easier to follow.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of stuff in the book that wasn't in the movies, though.
Which is so surprising to people who haven't read the book as well. Because the lore that Tolkien had, or the lore that Peter Jackson had taken from Tolkien's books and put into the movies, watching the movies as someone who hasn't read the books, like my boyfriend, for example, when I talked to him about things that happened in the book that weren't addressed in the movie or just completely were written out of the movie for timing, most likely, he's just blown away. He's like, there's more. And I'm like, oh, there's a lot more. There is so much more, which is so unbelievable because watching these movies, you're transported into the realm of Middle Earth and you're left thinking, how can there possibly be any more that was left out? But boy, oh boy, there's a lot more where that came from.
I'd be interested to have seen Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
It was an interesting character.
They might introduce Tom Bombadil in this series. Amazon's working on a Lord of the Rings series.
What?
Yeah, which I personally am not a fan of, just because these movies are still, even though they were made almost 20 years, no, 20
18 years ago the first one came out.
Even though they're 18 years old, they're still so advanced watching them and so crisp, and they don't need to be revitalized. The story doesn't need to be told again. Wait until, 2042 or something.
Squirrel.
Oh my God.
Just distracted. Squirrel. Get out of my shit, squirrel. Yeah, but that's just the curse of Hollywood these days. Is like, oh, it's almost 20 years old, better revive it.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like they just did that. They just beat The Hobbit to death with 3 movies.
God,
with
yeah.
unnecessary additions to the story.
Smallest fucking book.
Yeah.
They made into 3 movies.
I feel like I'm stretched thin.
Like,
made into too many movies.
yeah. Actually.
I saw the meme with Bilbo.
Yeah.
Bilbo, yeah. He's like, I feel weary. Fucking stupid. Okay, where do you want to start with this?
The
Let's
opening.
Just do it.
Let's just dive in. So it opens and it's a black screen, and you just hear this haunting, ominous elvish singing. And oh yeah.
Random. Sure.
Oh.
Climb our hands.
Oh
Stronger than ever. Seriously, though, my grip strength's getting ridiculous.
Damn.
It's from climbing. I'll grab like full bottles of booze at the bar and just like pick them up from like the bottom and just pour shit like that. It's like, ain't no thing.
Damn.
Carry fucking everything with just my pores. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, you hear the haunting elvish singing. Oh, yes. And this, right off the bat, could have gone horribly. Like what I mean is Tolkien made up the Elvish language. He made up the Orcish language. He made up complete full languages that you can now learn.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in like 2000, 2001. And what I think of now as an adult, this came out either shortly before or after 9/11. So my thinking is, with the like ominous elvish singing and like really close-minded, bigoted people, like it could have affected how this did, hearing this, other, I don't know.
Keep the elves out of America.
Yeah.
We don't want orcs here.
Well, no, like it totally, hearing different languages freaks people out who are really small-minded and think that everything that's not English or not a recognizable language is terroristic.
I like to think that there are way more, and there has to be way more, good-minded people out
Yeah,
there.
but
Smart-minded people rather than the dense ones.
yeah.
Like, we don't want elves.
Oh,
Get your kind out of here. It's just a fucking movie, guys.
But yeah, and then Galadriel opening it up, 3 rings for the elves, 7 for the dwarves, 9 to men.
It's a lot of rings.
Yeah, it's
I would have got bored like halfway through.
It's 20.
It's like, yeah, you just take a couple. You guys can have one. I'll keep this one though.
1 ring to rule them all.
1 ring to find them.
1 ring to bring them all.
That's what it is.
And in the darkness,
Find them. I was just like walking around my apartment before we got here. I'm like, 1 ring to rule them all. And then I get to that third line. I'm like, God damn it, what is it? And then in the darkness, find them. I don't know what the third line is.
Yeah, you're like...
And I want to Google it. I'm like, she'll know. She'll know what's up.
Yep. But yeah, I think the casting for every single part in this movie was spot on.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I cannot, and that's another thing with this Amazon series coming out, I cannot picture any other people in these roles.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, is they have to try to cast it with characters that look enough like or actors that look enough like the characters, but they have to be liked by hardcore Lord of the Rings audiences.
Yes.
Unless they're trying to cater to a whole new audience, but that's
Maybe.
just silly.
Yeah.
You
And
can't do that.
they have to not only find actors that resemble their movie counterparts, they can't just rehash and mimic what Elijah Wood did, for example. So the new guy cast as Frodo has to put aside Elijah Wood's iconic performance and make it his own. Otherwise, people are just going to think like, you're ripping this off. What the fuck? So I'm interested to see how that goes. But
When's it supposed to come out?
I don't know. I've just heard they're putting like a couple $1 billion into it.
Just a few dollars.
Just a few bills.
Just a couple of bucks.
And then I say this many times in the review, the first time was when Isildur, which is Aragorn's heir, like he was the king of Gondor. He's the one who has the blade, Narsil, which later is turned into Anduril. Fun fact. I'm like looking here and like
We go deep on this episode of Real Garbage into the lore.
So he takes Narsil and he chops off, or he goes to fight Sauron, and Sauron breaks his sword, and then he takes the broken sword and cuts off Sauron's fingers, thus getting the ring off. And defeating Sauron, but not really, because him in the ring, like himself is in the ring. It's kind of like poltergeisty. And then Isildur has one shot to destroy the ring. They're right there in Mount Doom, and it just shows how corrupting the ring is and how easily corruptible men are. And he takes it, and then he gets shot down by orcs. Ring falls into a river, and then Gollum finds it. And we don't actually really meet Gollum until Two Towers.
Yeah. Yeah, right at it's the intro for Two Towers, isn't it?
Yeah. But this is the first time when the huge battle was happening against like the elves and men are teamed up against Sauron, and I kept thinking, this is 2001. And it looked so good.
It was cinematically just, it was a masterpiece.
Yes.
It was really good.
It was so good.
I really enjoyed how I don't know how they did it with the framing for making everyone look short next to regular sized people.
I think what they did for that is casting, like looking at the heights of Elijah Wood and Sean Astin.
But Ian McKellen isn't 7 feet tall, standing next to a 3.5 foot tall. What's his face?
Ian McKellen was like 6'5". Or is 6'5". I don't know why I said it was.
Frodo, what's his face?
He's like 5'5".
Is that short?
5'5" or 5'7". So what they did is like filming face on, they obviously did like illusion tricks. But then on reverse shots, they dressed up children.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So anytime you see like the hobbits from behind, it's actually like children.
It's Timmy.
Yeah. And Peter Jackson got his kids involved in this as well, so it could be them.
I would be all over that.
Right?
What'd you do? Right?
Right?
What'd you do all summer, Timmy? I worked on a movie set. I was in Middle Earth.
Yeah. Like,
Fuck you, Timmy.
Yeah. Okay, Timmy.
Yeah, liar, Timmy. Yeah, that's my back right there. You liar, Timmy.
And then we're introduced to Frodo in the Shire, and right off the bat when this movie starts, it's so dark and ominous, and then moving to the Shire, that's gonna be my wedding song. Yeah, that's gonna be like the song my first dance is to at my wedding.
That should just be the song playing when people are getting into their seats, I think.
Yeah.
That's the song that should be playing before it's like you walk down the aisle. Or the bridal party starts coming down the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
Then you start playing the March on Mount Doom.
Oh, my God.
Isengard!
Yeah. And then it blows my mind that they actually built these sets and the entire town of Hobbiton in New Zealand. Like you can go to
still
New
there
Zealand.
too, isn't it?
Yeah, you can go to New Zealand and visit there, and it's so cool because how many other places and how many other movie experiences can you say that about? Like you can go to Universal Studios and see the house from Bates Motel.
You can drive the canal from Drive.
Yeah.
And gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah. But
It's one.
There aren't many where you can really do that.
Well, not like a whole completely created town.
Yeah.
Like I think that's like the first of its kind.
Yeah. Well, and the closest thing to it would be Pandora in Walt Disney World and the Marvel thing that's being built in Disneyland.
I went to the Crash Chopper from Predator.
Whoa.
First thing I remember when I was in Puerto Vallarta.
That's cool.
It was neat, but I'm like, it's just half a chopper like, in the bush, and it's like pay 100, 600 pesos to come on this other tour. I'm like, no, we're just gonna sit here and drink $2 Coronas, and everyone was always telling me it's so cheap, it's so cheap. No, you got to find the right places. There's a lot of places I'm like $3.75 a beer. No, I'm down here to pay $1 a beer and tip you 50 cents because that's a lot of money down there.
And then like you can go to Hawaii and see where they filmed Jurassic Park, but obviously you're not going to be seeing like dinosaurs and stuff. Like,
Wait, you're not?
No.
That's disappointing.
I know. Cancel a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned like the forced perspective is really good with regards to the actors. Like, oh, and then I noticed something that I have never noticed before, which I thought was super cool. The foreshadowing of when Gandalf and Bilbo were sitting on a bench outside of Bilbo's house and Bilbo blows a smoke ring and it's like expanding. And then Gandalf does his freaky like and blows a ship, and the ship goes through the ring and dissipates it. And to me, that was kind of like foreshadowing that, the ring gets destroyed and then Frodo and Bilbo and Gandalf go on the ship and sail to the elven worlds like at the end of the third one.
Yeah.
And I never, and that's something I thought was super cool and made me glad that we were reviewing this movie, because for the first time I was watching it from an analytical standpoint and finding things that I liked and maybe didn't like about it. Whereas every other time I watch them, and I watch them once every year, and I always watch them when I'm traveling, waiting in airports, in my hotel. Like I always watch them when I'm traveling. So this is the first time that I wasn't watching them as a huge fangirl where no character, no director, no occurrence could be wrong. So I really liked that, just stepping back and trying to put my biases aside. But I will say in this one, I really didn't find anything wrong.
There's nothing to find wrong in this movie.
It is seamless and perfect. And the reason I picked this one instead of Two Towers or Return of the King, they're all really good. This one to me encapsulates the whole Middle Earth Lord of the Rings experience without the sequels. Obviously not the character arcs and the plot, but you really get a feeling of the carefree and lightheartedness of being in the Shire and the camaraderie of everyone, but you still feel those crazy, hardcore, impending doom moments. And partially it has to do with the visual effects, with the stark difference between the bright, vibrant greens of the Shire and the murky, dark, cloudy forms of, or shots of Isengard and Mordor. And you also get that balance from the score, like going from the opening where it's really ominous and showing the, prologue. And then you're introduced to the Shire and it's so easygoing and fun. And then you're introduced to them being on the run from the Nazgul. And then they're in Rivendell. And it's just this like tapestry of, light and dark. And it's just so good.
What was I going to say? Fuck. I can't remember. I totally spaced on that. was thinking of it, and then I just anyway.
You'll think of it.
Yeah.
And then you really see how corrupting the ring is. And like the ring is its own entity as well. It's part of Sauron. I keep wanting to say Saruman. It's like but yeah, you really see how personified this ring is, and like its whispers and anyway, so the orcs captured Gollum and brought him to Isengard, and they're torturing him, and he says Shire and Baggins. And another thing I noticed in this movie is just how much they talk and reference Bilbo's journeys and The Hobbit. And if you don't know or haven't read The Hobbit and you don't know about it, it's just, you're like, oh, it's filler, it's background noise. But having read The Hobbit and seen the movies, you're like,
I would hope you've read The Hobbit before watching this.
oh God, yeah.
Like any
but some
true
people
fan.
don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really interesting. Like, that fireworks scene in the Shire when it's Bilbo's birthday, and Gandalf has a dragon firework.
He's okay. I was making some observations. They're always smoking weed.
Yeah.
They're always smoking weed. Him grabbing more fireworks. He was just just giggling. I'm like, that was me watching this movie. Giggling away. I'm like, what the fuck? They just got high. I wonder what old like Shire weed would be like back then. Like, did they know? Did they use magic to make it better?
Maybe.
But yeah, that I like that scene. His party.
Yeah. And then Bilbo puts on the ring, disappears, and he's like, I'm going on an adventure before I die. And Gandalf is like, okay, well, you should leave the ring behind. And he's like, yeah, I did.
Nice trick.
Yeah, and Gandalf's like, it's in your pocket. And then that effect of hearing Bilbo can't physically like throw it or drop it or give it to someone. He literally just has to let it fall out of his hand. And hearing that like deep sound thump, it's just another personification of how heavy the ring is mentally and physically. And Gandalf goes to touch it, and it's like the eye of Sauron. And he fucks off to Minas Tirith to investigate. And Frodo's just like, okay, cool. And then he finds out that it's the One Ring, and it's been lost for like thousands of years.
That's quite a while.
Yeah.
And passed through a couple fucking hands.
Yeah. And then you finally, when Gandalf comes back and talks to Frodo and they realize it's the One Ring, you see Gandalf resisting the ring, and it goes to show, having seen earlier how corrupting the ring is with Isildur and with Bilbo, that Gandalf is a really strong person. And even Frodo right off the bat, like he's just holding it, he's playing around with it, and he hears it like whispering to him, but he doesn't put it on. He's not.
He gets tempted pretty early, pretty quickly though.
Totally, yeah.
Out on the road when they find the mushrooms, he's already like, oh shit, and fucking Sam distracts the Nazgul guy there, the ring wraith.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take long.
No, but yeah, and that's just how corrupting the ring is. Like it's just like that. And Gandalf straight up says, when Frodo is like, take it, he's like, I would use that ring to do good, but in my hands it knows it would be a powerful weapon. And it's just, the attention to detail is buck wild.
It's one smart ring. Can you imagine being tasked with the job of destroying something? Like, you have to travel across the country to destroy this. Ooh. Just take this laptop across the country and destroy it for me. You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
You absolutely
the fate
have
of the
to.
world depends on it.
It does. Like, shit. That'd be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Especially back then, because you had to walk.
Yeah.
And how far is Mordor from the Shire?
They were traveling for, I think it was like 2 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Let's see how many kilometers you think they're traveling a day.
Ooh, probably like a few thousand, I want to say.
No, a day.
Oh, a few hundred.
No, walking?
Yeah.
100 kilometers? A few hundred?
Yeah.
What's the most you've walked in a day?
Like 10. I don't know.
If you're
I've
walking,
done- if I'm
you're doing
I
like...
can do steps because my phone measures my steps. On average, if I'm like working, I'll do like 30 or 40,000 steps.
So you got to think mountainous terrain sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you got to set up camp.
Yeah.
So let's say they cover 75 kilometers a day. Let's just 80 just for math's sake.
Yeah.
2 years. So 365 days a year, 80 kilometers a day, which is a lot. So that's 2,400 a month. 2,400 kilometers a month.
Damn.
That's a long. That's around the world.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that far. It couldn't.
It's a lot.
They weren't going that far because that equals out to like 48,000 kilometers or something. That's way too many. That's a lot.
They were traveling a while.
Yeah. We've traveled around the world twice.
Yeah.
Where are we?
And then I wrote down a fun fact. Christopher Lee, the actor that played Saruman, he was the only actor to have met J.R.R. Tolkien in real life.
Oh.
And like had spoken to him and talked to him.
No, he's a metal singer too.
Yeah.
There's all the metal Christmas songs.
Iconic.
He just sounds like Saruman singing though.
Yeah.
As
But
heard
I
once, was like,
mean,
okay,
that's...
it's different.
And then, so we find out that Saruman the Wise is working with Sauron, which here's the thing that I'll pick apart. You have the main bad guy named Sauron, and you think Saruman is going to be a good guy? Okay.
Yeah, sounds like his brother.
Yeah. They're like, I'm going to go undercover as the Wise, Saruman the Wise, okay?
It's like, what's your name going to be? What's your code name going to be?
Saruman.
Sauron.
Yeah.
Saruman.
Yeah.
Sir, listen, Keith.
Yeah.
It's a little too close to Sauron. No.
No, it's fine.
Saruman.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for. Ah.
Yeah, that's one of the only things that I like picked apart.
I liked, I said Mordor looked like Fort Mac.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
And then Isengard did too. They just tore the shit out of his yard.
I know. All those Ents.
Okay, my question. I have a question.
Okay.
What is the orc birthing process?
I
are they
actually looked this
created?
up. So orcs used to be elves, and they were corrupted and tortured by Sauron and by evil. So elves turned into orcs. They became twisted and bad. What they were birthing were Uruk-hai, which are a hybrid of orcs and goblins, so that because orcs can't travel in the daylight, they say that. So Uruk-hai can travel in the daylight. So it's a combination of like an orc and a goblin, and they throw a little bit of like man in there. And
But how are they making them?
they make them through the salt and the mud, and they emerge like worms. That's what Tolkien is quoted talking about, like because they're like vile scourge. He wants them to be birthed like vile scourge.
Gross.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that, and I'm like, okay, I gotta have some things to pick apart. And I'm like, why are they just coming out of the ground like that?
Yeah. Having no background, you're just like, okay.
Yeah. It was just weird. But like when I was, 18, I was just like, this is so cool.
Right.
There were so many parts of this movie that when I was watching it, I remember reading about it and just being like, oh my God, I can't wait for this part. I can't wait for this
Yeah.
part. Like when in The Hobbit, when he met Gollum for the first time, I was
Oh
like,
my
yes,
God,
this is so sweet. I've been
yes.
waiting years for this. The octopus outside of the Mines of Moria is one part in particular that I'm like, holy shit, I remember this. This is so cool.
I thought they were going to cut that part out. I just had a
I'm
feeling.
so glad they didn't.
Same. I think it's cut out of because I watched the extended edition. That's what's on Netflix. I think it might be cut out of the original. No?
I saw that in theaters because
okay.
I remember looking at my girlfriend at the time going, I remember this from the book. This is so cool. She's like, just shut up. Because that was something that stuck with me since I saw it. Like, It's 18 years ago. And I'm like, I remember that. That's half a lifetime ago.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
I do another thing that I pick apart is I always laugh when Gandalf and Saruman have their like forced dance battle.
The wizard fight
And Gandalf's just like spinning in circles on the ground.
in a really wide head spin.
Yeah. Yeah. I do love that part.
Like what determines what wizard is stronger? Because they're both pretty powerful. In the original fight, I'm like, how do you get the jump on them?
Yeah. I can't remember like how it's determined who's stronger, but I remember the ranking of them. Like the two blue wizards we hear about in The Hobbit that we never ever see, they're the most powerful. And then it's Saruman the White, and then it's Gandalf the Grey, who then becomes Gandalf the White when Saruman is corrupt, making him more powerful than Saruman. And then Radagast the Brown is at the bottom. Radagast loves mushrooms.
Kind of cool to name a dog or a cat Radagast.
Radagast,
Radagast.
come here.
You could call him Ratty for short.
Ready?
Ruddy.
Red.
And
Okay.
then
I said, how did Gandalf know the ring was cool after he threw it in the fire? We'll go back to. I'm rewinding to Bilbo's place for a second.
I think
He's like, it's quite cool. Like you just threw it in the fire.
because the ring was made in the fires of Mount Doom, therefore no other fire can affect it except for that one.
That makes sense. Makes total sense, actually. All right then.
And then I made a note that this is one movie that needs this length. Like I'm not bored at all.
Oh, yeah.
Every moment you're learning and experiencing something new. There's no drags or lulls. And I made a note of this after I made a note of Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin have their first encounter with the Nine, the Ringwraith / Nazgul, 45 minutes in. But you don't realize it's 45 minutes in. And when you think about it, 45 minutes into a normal movie, it's half over.
Is that them after they've been in the Prancing Pony getting stabbed? Or is it running down the river to get to the Prancing Pony?
No, this is the before they make it to the Prancing Pony. After
That's 45 minutes in? Like when they fall down, they get find the mushrooms and they... What?
Yeah.
Wow.
But you don't... Yeah, and you don't think...
I felt like 10 minutes in.
And
That's
then
weird.
I also made a note that like in... I want to say like third grade, fourth grade, when I first saw this, I got sick and I lost my voice, and anytime I tried to talk or scream, I sounded like a ringwraith, and I thought it was so cool. And I went around school and daycare just like screaming like a ringwraith. And then I also, hindsight, I'm like, that's why I was bullied. That's why I had no friends, because I was walking around and I was like, ah! And then people bullied me, so I just like screamed at them more. And then when my voice came back, I was like,
I was just trying to say hi, you dicks.
yeah. I was a really cool kid.
I played Magic.
Magic.
I did.
Ooh,
Magic the Gathering.
wow.
I did. That, video games, and then at one point, I don't know, I just got too cool for those friends. I think back now, I'm like, I was a dick.
Aw.
Because I don't know, Magic was a cool game.
Yeah.
It was challenging when you got like, your deck all set up and you fucking play against other people who knew what they were doing. You're like, okay,
I know, you're like, oh, shit.
My one buddy just took it to the extreme, like that episode of South Park where Kenny's playing against the rooster. That's cock magic.
Oh my God.
Now we play the juxtaposition card. I don't think we need to go through this movie step by step.
No.
Just rant about it.
Yeah.
44 minutes in.
Oh my God. 44 minutes into the podcast, 44 minutes.
44 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this movie so much. And then we'll fast forward a bit. They meet Aragorn. Oh.
I like the way that scene was shot, where you're led to believe that they're coming into the room and you're like, oh shit, they're going to get stabbed. But then you're like, they can't get stabbed yet because it's still too early.
Yeah.
They're stabbing all the pillows. I'm like, God, so did they rent 2 rooms?
Yeah, right.
When the ring racer go downstairs and go, who rented both rooms?
Yeah.
They're in 1A as well.
You ratted us out.
Oh my God. Yeah. Can you imagine?
Just like, no, there's like that one smart wraith who's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
If they're not in here, that means they're over there. They just stand, oh, yeah.
And then they go on the run and they
cooking bacon at
Yes.
fucking 1 a.m.
yeah, they're
I've done that once or twice.
God, yeah. Mary and Pippin and Sam are all like cooking sausages and bacon.
Nice crispy bacon.
And Frodo's like, oh my God, you dummies. And like stamps out the fire with his foot. And then the ring wraiths come. And Aragorn's nowhere to be found. And they're left like to fend for themselves.
Yeah, why did Aragorn take so long to get there? Because he was following them the whole time.
Yeah, no, well, he was with them. So I think he went off to look for
that's
food or
right.
something.
No, wait, I thought that was. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I skimmed past that part. That's when I was trying to like watch it quickly. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this part.
And then Frodo like puts the ring on and you see what the wraith kind of looks like. And you realize that the 9 wraiths are the 9 men that had their rings and got corrupted. And then Frodo gets stabbed with a Morgul blade. And he's just like out. He's done.
It's getting the white eyes.
Yeah.
Looking
Foaming.
kind of rabid.
Yep. And then Aragorn fights them off and we meet Arwen. Oh, so beautiful.
Everybody just loves Liv Tyler. I just don't find her attractive.
Fair.
She's not that. Doesn't have
She
that
has the
look.
opposite jawline that you like. She has like
She's very
very
narrow
yeah.
jaw, like
she's
just-
oval faced.
Yeah, it's not.
And you like a square
I
face.
kind of do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's almost too much old Captain Marvel there.
Oh yeah.
Brie
Larson.
Larson. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a pretty square face.
Yeah.
But she's attractive. Don't know with that new haircut though.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak to the manager of Earth, please. Now.
I'm Karen Danvers now, not Carol.
Karen Universe.
Is her last name Danvers?
Yeah.
Carol Danvers?
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. Karen Marvel. I need to watch that movie still.
Yeah.
I
same.
haven't seen Captain Marvel.
And then
Well, he rides her
Liv
to
Tyler.
he takes Frodo to meet up with Liv Tyler, and she takes him
to Rivendell.
yeah,
And then that shot of the Nazgul in the river, and she,
pretty cool.
yeah, with the
like
horse.
the water horses.
Yes. And then we see Rivendell, and oh my God, what a cinematic masterpiece. Like,
Trippy ass place.
whoa, the amount of time and effort they put into this. I mean, so
always-
beautiful.
Hugo Weaving
Weaving.
will always just be Agent Smith to me. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't see him and go
See, to
not
me,
say Agent Smith.
to me, he'll always be Elrond because this is the first movie I saw with him in it. And then I saw The Matrix and I was like, hey, it's Elrond.
What year? Matrix was 99, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It
but
was.
I
I was
wasn't
still in high school. Maybe it was 97. Because I remember this guy Justin Hockley in high school, like he just reenacting the whole. You have any guns, metal objects, knives of any kind? Holy shit! Ah! Just like fucking. It was so good. I'm like,
Oh
dude,
my
it was so
God.
sweet. We just kept doing that in school like all day.
Yeah, I didn't see The Matrix until like 2009, 2010.
I just re-watched the Matrix trilogy back in like January or February.
Damn.
The second and third one are pretty good. They're not as good as the first one. First one
Yeah,
was just like iconic.
That's what I've heard.
It was pretty sweet movie. But yeah, he'll always be Agent Smith to me. He's just that's the character I remember him as. Even though he's Red Skull. In
Yeah, Captain
America.
So then we find out that Aragorn and Arwen are, lovers, but I bet you didn't know this. Let me get my notes out. So in the books, we find out that Arwen
Excuse me.
we find out that Arwen and Aragorn basically like grew up together. Not together in close quarters, but Arwen was off living with her grandparents for the longest time, and Aragorn was growing up in Rivendell thinking that Elrond was his father for the longest time, therefore thinking that Arwen was his sister. And then he found out as an adolescent that he was the heir to Gondor. Elrond wasn't his father. Arwen wasn't his sister. And then when he was an adult, Arwen came back from living with her grandparents, and then they like met and like re-met and fell in love, which is so like weird to think about, because for the longest time when he was a child growing up, he had always thought that Elrond and Arwen were his family. And then so
Some down south stuff right there.
yeah, like they never really met, but they grew up hearing about each other, and he obviously grew up hearing about his sister. So
Grew to love her.
yeah.
Couldn't Saruman have stopped Gandalf from jumping on that eagle?
I mean, yeah.
He's more powerful. He could have been like, boom, shot that eagle down.
Yeah.
That's
I think there must be something. Actually, no, never mind. I was gonna say, there must be something in like the wizard code or handbook saying you can't harm like nature, because nature is really important to Radagast. It's really important in like wizard lore. But
I don't think Saruman cares.
no, because he's
the
tearing
fuck out
down
of
the
his yard.
ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Rip
I
out
think
every tree.
the eagles in Lord of the Rings are considered like godly creatures.
Yeah, you don't fuck with the eagles.
No. So if Saruman did that, like he would have just been signing his death warrant.
For the longest time, until I was an adult, like a full-grown adult, I actually thought that Gandalf had taken that butterfly and just put a spell on it and turned it into an eagle that was going to fly back later. I don't know why I thought that. Then I realized, he told the butterfly, go get the eagles for me.
Yeah.
I'm an Isengard. And the eagle came back. I was like, oh, shit, he turned a butterfly into an eagle. That's crazy. How'd he do that? It's fuck. Have you ever just noticed, like, done that, watch a movie when you're young and then rewatch it later, you're like, oh.
You're like, whoa.
That's what that joke means.
Yeah.
I didn't get it at all. Like, I
Watching
remember
Shrek.
watching this show called Bizarre when I was like a 7 or 8 year old kid. It was like sketch comedy from way back in the day, and swears were covered with honks. Like you just be like, yeah, you know what, you. And I would just laugh at the honk, beep, like the weird cover ups. I didn't know what they were covering up. Why is the audience laughing? I should laugh too. And then I realized like 10 years later, I'm like, oh, they were swearing. Oh shit, what were they saying?
And then you try to pick it out.
Well, I haven't watched that show. I should actually revisit that show. That's where Super Dave Osborne came from.
Oh.
Do you know who Super Dave Osborne is?
I've heard, but I haven't seen anything.
He was a stuntman, and at the end of he had these like little 3 to 5 minute long shorts on this sketch comedy show. It was like, oh, we now go down to the West Side racetrack where Don is with Super Dave Osborne, and Don, how are things looking down there? Blah blah blah. I'm here with Super Dave, and Super Dave. Well, we're gonna do this for the kids. We're raising money for charity, and blah blah blah. Like this big spiel, and he's like, well, what's your stunt today? Well, I'm going to jump my motorcycle over 12 buses, and they're going to be on fire. And it would just be like the build up to whatever he was doing, like, brrr, and then the final shot would come, and it would just be a dummy on a bike, and just boom, and just crash horrifically. And it would cut back to him like, oh, like putting a little bit of fire out, or his legs broken, or he'd come up like, oh, I'm fine. Stunt didn't really go. He never ever landed a stunt. Like the dummy just got trashed, and that was the funny part about it. I'll show you some Super Dave Osborne.
Okay.
They're hilarious. It's just a ridiculous old show. And that's what I grew up with. Super Dave. But yeah, Bizarre. 'Twas bizarre.
Yeah. I really liked when everyone's bickering in Rivendell, and
I will take it.
there's like there's the reflection of the ring of everyone bickering, and the reflections were so good.
You like your reflection shots.
Yeah.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
And then
I love how many memes have come out of that scene.
yeah. No,
One does not.
simply walk into Mordor. You'll have my sword and my bow
And my axe. Well, it looks like we've got ourselves a fellowship.
Yeah. Roll credits.
Movie over. I remember thinking that in theaters. I'm like, is it done now?
Yeah.
No.
Same.
This is like halfway. Not even. No, it's about halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just made a note, like, so many people, I've heard so many people say, like, oh, this is just a huge long advertisement for New Zealand. But when this came out,
Who says that?
I've had many people say to me, like, this is just a huge, big, like, multi-million-dollar commercial for New Zealand. And
You say Terminator 2 is a giant multi-million-dollar commercial for fucking robots, you idiot.
No, and it always makes me so mad because obviously, you know, people knew about New Zealand. It wasn't like it wasn't on the map, but this movie made New Zealand prominent in people's minds and it really turned the country around economically. Like suddenly there was this tourism boom and it's still going 20 years later.
Why would people even care?
I don't know. I've argued with a lot of people over stupid shit.
You just like to be right.
Would you rather be correct or happy? I would rather be correct.
Someday you'll be like, wait a minute. I figured out the solution to the microphone. We're just going to drop the whole thing down and just angle it up towards you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. We haven't figured. I'm going to fix that right now. I haven't fucking figured that out. But I'm looking at it. I'm like, what can we do? Oh, this.
There. Oh. Hello. There we go. We did it, folks. Wow.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Everybody.
Here we go. Hell yeah. Okay, so
So they get their minds of wait. So they try to go through the past, and it's snowy.
yeah, and Gandalf is like, I do not want to go through the fucking mines. I don't.
Go to the mines of Moria.
Yeah, and he's just like, Gimli, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
And then they have to go though.
Yeah, because Saruman is like doing some wizard magic, causing a storm and an avalanche. And then everyone is like, we have to go through the mines of Moria. And Gandalf's like, we'll let the ring bearer decide.
I don't want to go the same way my parents went to school every day. Take us to the mines. Oh, very well. Yeah, and then they fight that big monster.
Also, I'm going to rewind to the snow for a sec. Another thing I realized watching this critically is everyone is trudging through the snow except for Legolas, and he's walking on top of it. That's the first time I noticed that. And
Really?
And I was like, holy shit.
I figured you, with the amount of times you've watched this, you would have noticed that. 'Cause,
I
he
guess
can
not.
walk on anything.
Yeah,
except for
he's so
water, basically.
graceful. But yeah, I was blown away. I was like, they're still getting me.
He's very light on his feet. That's kind of cool that you're noticing little things that you haven't noticed before.
Having more of an analytical view on it.
Real garbage has taught us to analyze the fuck out of shit.
And then so they get to the entrance of Moria, and part of me thinks, because Gandalf really, really, really did not want to go there and pass through, part of me thinks Gandalf knew how to solve the riddle and open up the mines, but he didn't
I don't think
because
so.
I think so.
I don't think so, because he knew they weren't going to turn around and go back up the mountain.
True.
They knew that, and he's like, I think he sees the value in not wasting time, especially being that they got there at night.
I guess,
I
but
think he was, I think, and then he realized, like, when he was like, oh, it's a riddle. Speak, friend. And then he's like, oh, you could see, like, the realization on his face. He's like, it's this.
I guess. Maybe.
I don't think he was trying to sandbag them at all.
No.
No. He knows the bring us to get to
True.
Mount Doom.
Yeah. And then when they're in the mines of Moria and Gimli realizes that they're all dead, and it's a tomb, poor Pippin. I identify with Pippin so much just because he's so klutzy and he's just like the epitome of Murphy's Law. Yeah, and he drops the thing and Gandalf's so mean. He's just like, next time, make sure that you throw yourself down there.
Fool of a took.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
And the epic battle ensues.
Yes.
Man, okay, so I have to say, you're wearing mithril.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to stop shit. It's still going to hurt and break bones. It has to. Getting stabbed by a giant monster like that, like, come on.
Maybe.
Because that shit's still going to bend with it, and it's
Yeah.
jamming you with like 1,000 pounds worth of force. Just brrr.
True.
So I don't agree
Mithril
with that.
is really, really like powerful.
But it should have like bounced off of him.
Yeah.
Somehow. Like
Yeah.
I didn't. That I was like,
Yeah.
no. Would have broke some bones or something. I don't know. I want to know more about how mythical armor works. Something I learned from video games.
I wrote foreshadowing with Boromir, but I can't remember. It was after I wrote Gandalf is mean. Oh my God, poor Pippin. And then I said foreshadowing with Boromir. I can't remember what I. It was when they when they're in the tomb area, and after Pippin does that, and the goblins shoot arrows, and it goes at Sean Bean, and he like dodges it, and I'm like foreshadowing because he gets like.
He's just dodging an arrow too.
No,
though.
but they shot him at Sean Bean. They didn't shoot him at anyone else.
No, I guess that's a stretch. That's a stretch.
And then I realized rewatching this, I think this movie is 100% the reason why I love archery so much, and why in every video game I play, if there's like a ranged weapon, like I'm using a bow and arrow, I'm not using a staff. Like in World of Warcraft, I was a hunter. Like I'm not using a sword or a staff, or like I'm not a mage. I'm a hunter.
I'm always a warrior.
Oh.
Running in, hacking and slashing. Like, I found the cheats in Conan Exiles.
Damn.
My buddy was showing me something. I'm like, well, it's not working for me, but I went to the admin panel and you can just hit plus level. So just you hit that 85 times, you level up to the max, you spend all the points. Now I can run, and you can spawn any weapon or item in the game. So I can just like give me this sword, give me this armor, give me that, give me this. And it's like, boom, it's in your inventory.
Cool.
You just equip it and it's like, all right, now I don't burn stamina. I don't lose health. It's hilarious. I'm just running straight north to like the most difficult part of the map. It's like, I'm going to keep going this way. It was 12:30 at night last night. I'm like, I got to rest. I need to go to work tomorrow. Damn this game. I was saying like a couple podcasts ago, I was like, I fucking hate this game. It's stupid. And now I'm like,
Now you're like,
it's all
now I
right.
have the cheats.
It's okay. It's more fun when you level up to 85 in 10 minutes. But it just goes, boom, boom, you've gained a level. Boom, you've gained a level. I'm like, God damn it, turn down. It's like 12 o'clock last night. Boom.
Someone's like, what is that?
What is that sound? I'm going crazy.
And so the goblins come out, and they have cave trolls.
They have a cave troll.
The detail of the cave troll, like whipping that chain at Legolas, like
It's pretty badass.
and you see like rocks flying, and you see the impact of the chain, and that blend of CGI and reality is so blurred you can hardly tell the difference.
This was 2001.
Yeah,
it was a really, really well done, well choreographed. Yeah, you don't look at it and go, that's fake.
Yeah.
Like there's parts where there's thousands and thousands of goblins running, like screaming down the walls. Where you're like, okay, I know that can't be real.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool. And then of course you got the Balrog.
The Bridge of Khazad-dûm. Every time I listen to the soundtrack in my car, I'm fucking giving her.
Tailgating somebody at 130. God damn it.
But yeah, so I wrote that too in my notes. I was like, Balrog time, baby. And then I said it's my favorite part of the soundtrack, in brackets, Bridge of Khazad-dûm, FYI, if the viewers want to listen to it. It's like the peak of the soundtrack. And Gandalf and his iconic memed out,
You shall not pass.
You cannot pass. Yeah.
He takes him down and he turns his back.
I
on
know.
his fallen.
Classic mistake.
Fuck, he could have just been like, now
But-
we're good.
Yeah.
Done.
And then the fire whip of the Balrog gets him. And
Takes him down. We find out that the rest of that story in Two Towers.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the opening of Two Towers.
No, wait. Thought the opening of Two Towers was, what's his face? Smeagol finding the ring.
No, that's the opening of Return of the King.
Okay, so we got that mixed up.
Yeah.
We fixed it. Calm down, nerds.
Yeah. They're like, they're
I
not.
think you got. That's karma. That's karma.
Good. Yeah.
Yo, you got it backwards, huh?
And then he says, fly, you fools. Because
And we didn't know
No.
forever what what he meant.
But now, due to lore and forums online, we know that his plan was to take everyone to the frickin' Eagles so we could fly over to Mount Doom and just boop the ring in there.
Would have been done. One movie.
And and obviously they just think he means like, fly, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But who says fly?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Fly.
Run.
Fly, dog. Fly.
And that was a death you don't expect. Like reading the books, you're kind of blindsided by it. And then
It was pretty tragic.
And then watching the movie, if you aren't familiar with the books, you're like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
That's the leader. You know, you're left kind of like, oh my God, what's going to happen now?
That's where Aragorn kind of steps up, takes
Yeah.
over his lead,
Yeah.
does a pretty good job.
And then,
The battle in the woods.
yes.
I wrote down Sean Bean
Oh.
dying. Typical.
Yeah. Dying valiantly, though. He redeems himself.
He did. After he tried to rob him.
Yeah. After he tries to take the ring from Frodo.
to use it for yourself. You want to betray us.
Yeah. Frodo.
Relax. Frodo, I'm sorry.
And then you see how powerful, like, Aragorn's will is. Like, Frodo, he runs into Aragorn after Boromir tries to take it from him, and he's, like, offering it to him. And he's like, yeah, and he, like, folds up his hand and gives it back to Frodo. So that's really when you see the strengths of each individual character coming out.
And he's the Isildur's heir.
Yes. Isildur!
Royal blood. Good band.
Yeah.
Have you heard them?
No.
It's a band.
I was just like, yeah, sure, it sounds like a good
Totally.
band.
It's Royal blood, yeah.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah. I'd listen to that. I'm going to look them up after.
It's a two-piece band. They're pretty sweet.
Oh.
Yeah. They played at Pemberton the last time that ever happened before it got shut down.
Damn.
And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was
Literally.
like 6 years ago or something. I've never been. Just heard about it. Yeah, so the battle at the end.
Yeah. The badassery of Aragorn fighting the orcs alone. Boromir taking 3 arrows and still fighting them off. And that's another thing. I was like yelling at my TV. I was like, Merry and Pippin, do something.
Yeah,
Only
they weren't really doing
after.
fuck all.
No, they did fuck all. And then after Boromir fell, they were like, ah! Like, wow, too late.
But they're
They're hobbits.
hobbits. Like
Yeah.
they can't do much. They're tiny. Like
I
we're
know.
meant to believe they're like 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
They maybe weigh 100 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, they're the size of someone's nephew. They're not. They're not going to do much.
And then I named that orc, that the main leader that Aragorn kills, the one with the big ponytail. I named it Orkiana Grande. No, Orkiana Gondor instead of.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you. Next.
Thank
I'm
you.
so-
Next.
I'm so fucking grateful for the sax. Thank you. Oh my God, Ariana, please don't.
Orkiana Gondor.
Yeah, Orkiana Gondor. Thank you for the sax.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you.
I haven't even heard the whole song. I've only heard that
Yeah,
little bit
same.
of the chorus.
I'm so fucking grateful for Saruman's Hex. Thank you. And
Then Bilbo leaves.
yeah, no,
It's-
Frodo.
Yeah, Bilbo. Frodo leaves. And Sam's like, I'm coming with you. I'm going to drown.
Oh,
You think he's wearing a lot of shit.
yeah.
I thought about that. I was like, what's weighing him down? If he doesn't
Yeah.
know how to swim,
His
at least
pots
be able
and
to doggy paddle.
pans.
Oh, he's got his pots and pans.
And he can't
too.
swim.
Jesus.
I know.
It's just death sentence.
Yeah,
And
and
Frodo
then-
took his time.
Yeah, he took a
coming
sweet
back.
out. He was
I'm
like,
like, no, he was not in reaching distance.
No.
He's drowned. You let him die, Frodo.
yeah, you jerk.
Can't believe you, Frodo.
And then the movie just ends with Frodo and Sam crossing the river, and then
The others going orc
to
hunting.
look, to go orc hunting and look for Merry and Pippin, and that's it. And you're just left like,
for 3 years to wait for the other one.
one.
No, two towers.
Two Towers came out in 2002. This one was 2001. Return of the King 2003.
Oh, there were 3 years back to back? Oh, shit.
They filmed them all like back to back to back to back.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they didn't make us wait like
Yeah.
other movies.
Yeah, like Avatar. Frickin' heck.
How many more are coming out?
There's going to be 5 in total. And Disney, now that they've acquired like Fox and everything, they're pushing them way back. Yeah,
Jesus.
I know.
It's too many avatars. One was good.
One was fine.
Yeah.
This was a great movie.
Yeah. I
This
said,
was like-
wow, 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Like,
oh, I mean,
honestly.
absolutely.
Honestly.
It's a movie like you said. You watch it once a year. I probably watch this every 2 years. It's funny how many movies we just rewatch.
I know.
Fuck. It's just like, oh, what else can we do with our time? I'm gonna watch this 3-hour movie again. I'm gonna watch Infinity War for the 5th time.
Yeah.
There's nothing else on.
No.
There's literally millions of other things to watch. But I
when
will rewatch the
something's-
same stuff.
When something's so good.
It's true. All right.
Oh, I give that 10 Orkiana Gondors out of 10.
Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. I'll give it 10 horns of Gondor
Oh.
out of 10.
The beacons have been lit.
Gondor calls for aid.
Then
And Rohan
Rohan.
shall answer. We could, I'll review Two Towers right now. I got the dialogue locked
Jesus.
and loaded.
we don't have enough time.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. We'll call it there.
That was great.
That was good. It was
Wow.
good fun. Hour 10. Nice.
Less than half as long as the movie.
It's true. Follow us on all the stuff.
Yeah.
You know the things.
Yeah,
We're on
you know-
YouTube.
you know the things, you know the
Subscribe
stuff.
and shit.
Yeah. And if you want us to review one of your favorite movies or least favorite movies, let us know because,
Just leave a comment.
yeah.
Instagram
Get involved,
message.
people.
Do it. Just do something. Just be like, hey,
Yeah.
watch
Hey,
this
guys.
movie. It's terrible. Actually, we might have a guest on next little while. This friend of mine, Kendall,
Okay.
who wants to review Disaster Movie
Nice.
and Ready to Rumble, which is a great
Okay.
movie. Yeah,
I'm down.
I'm down for that too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, let's say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Real Garbage.